So today we have an interesting video that we're gonna make. Actually, it's about the Toledo shooting that happened with the Chicago police. Do you guys know about that?
Yeah.
Okay,
in my
so
neighborhood.
yeah. So if you understand what happened, what we're gonna try to do is recreate the whole situation to see if you, as martial artists that are in training, can identify the threat and then take out the threat in a way where if they're trying to shoot back at you, you can shoot them first. Or if they pitch the gun and turn around, if you have the awareness to be able to not shoot at that moment. Okay, so essentially this is what happened. We're gonna have the red gun represent, Adam having the gun that's loaded. So he's running, and then what happened is he pitched it, and then went like that, and then he ended up getting shot. Right? So as the officer, if you're going to be chasing after me, and then your objective is to see if you can identify, oh, he doesn't have the gun anymore, let me not shoot. But this is what could have happened, this is what the officer is worried about. It's not that he pitched it, but he just went, boom. So that's what he was worried about. So then, now you're chasing after me, and you don't know if I'm going to pitch it, or you don't know if I'm going to go like that. And then basically, if you shoot me while I'm here, you lose. If you shoot me in the back, you lose. If I turn and I shoot you in the head, you lose. But you're going to have a bulletproof vest on. If I shoot you in the chest and you shoot me in the chest, you win. You get what I'm talking about? Because you have the bulletproof vest on. So this is a new, nobody's done this before in here. So this is going to be like, okay, can you even do this without police training? And background on me, lived in Chicago my whole life. I used to be police for 4 years, foreign police, and I went to Chicago Police Academy for 3 months. And I remember exactly the lesson that they gave us about this. So I know the type of training that they've gotten, and I'm familiar with this. But at the same time, I'm interested to see if any of these students can really make the right decision that quickly. So then once you go one time and you lose, then you're out, the next person goes. But if you win, then we'll get you to go a second run with the other option. So meaning, say like, I come here and I pitch it, and then Ash doesn't shoot me, Ash wins. But then the next time Ash goes, then I'm gonna come and go like this and see if Ash could win that one as well. But if you lose, if you come here and then boom, and then you shoot me, you lost and you're out. So we'll see who's left. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people that could go, but you don't have to go. If you want to go, you can. Right? So I just want to test this out, and then I'll be the officer and see if I'll pick one person, maybe Ash, to do it, and see if I can win on both tries. And then after that, I'll go over what would have been a better response for the officer to basically be better at what he did. I'm not saying no officer is perfect, but technique-wise, it was pretty good, but it could have been better to prevent that situation. And I'll go over what my suggestion to help that situation would be. But it's a lot easier said than done. Also realize lights are blaring. You can see everything. The gun is red. I mean, this happened in the dark. Officer had a flashlight. Things are going so quick. So just also take into account how a real gun looks like. A real gun looks just like this, exactly just like this size. And this Nerf gun, it's very, very similar. It's almost the same size. So it is very similar to the Nerf gun. Also take into account a Nerf gun goes 90 feet per second. Real gun goes 2,600 feet per second. So there's no dodging bullets in real life, right? But this is a good experiment because there's actually something coming out of the barrel and then making contact with the people and things like that. Okay. All right. So who wants to go first? Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna start here. And then I'm going to take off running. So we got to go all the way around. Okay. And then once I come over here, then you start giving me directives. Be like, put your hands up, put your hands up. As you say, put your hands up. Then I'm going to either pitch like this and go like that, or once you say put your hands up, I'm gonna come and shoot you. Those are the two options. Alright, so you're running after me, put your hands up, and then I'm gonna do what I choose that I want to do at that moment.
So we're doing a lap?
Yeah, we're doing a lap.
Okay.
So I go first, I'm coming here, you're the officer standing there,
Okay.
and then I'm running, and then you gotta chase me all the way around till I get to there.
And then we get to here, that's when I...
Yes. That's when you start. Once you walk through here, you can say, put your hands up, and I want you to come at this angle, because that's kind of where it happened. This is representing the fence of where he pitched it. The officer was literally like at this angle on the situation. And then the body cam was showing the officer's viewpoint. But now we have like offside camera to see the whole situation going on. Okay? And then you're gonna actually put this on to show like a bulletproof, this is like a bulletproof vest.
Okay.
So you're the officer, you got the blue gun, blue for the officer. I got the red gun for, you know, the representing, you know, the atom. So I'm gonna be running with the gun. Make sure that the gun is loaded. Have one in the chamber, everything. And then it can't shoot. Alright, so there's not one in the chamber. So then just load it here.
Oh, okay.
Pull it down, and then it shoots it. Let's make sure this works. Alright, there's double. So you basically just put it in here. Now it's ready. Okay. So I'll make sure mine works as well. So here. And then there's one in my chamber too. Okay, so you're starting from there. And then basically you're saying, first you say, stop right there. When you say stop right there, yeah, when you say stop right there, I'm gonna be running. Okay? Ready?
Stop right there. Hands up. Hands up. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now raise your rights.
Alright, let's do it again. Now you know what's gonna happen. That's the difference though.
Stop right there. Hands up. Turn. Ah, dang.
Gun's jammed. Alright, so you won that one because my gun was jammed. Alright, next. Anybody else want to try? Whew. Take the vest off, give it to Dominic. I'm interested to do it again to see if my bullet doesn't jam. What happens?
Yeah, I think my bullet didn't come out of it, yeah.
Your bullet didn't come out either?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, both of you had blinked.
Yeah.
Both, neither bullet ever through. So you guys just had loaded it too. And
Yeah, it just didn't work. Like it's
stuck with that.
right now.
I think you would have gotten it too. At least in a vest.
This is not working right now. Oh, that's what it was. It was like on safety.
These can only hold one bullet at a time. I immediately forgot that.
Alright, so is your gun working?
Yeah. I'm
Make
ready.
sure it's loaded and ready.
Yeah, that's all we're ready.
Safety off.
I'm gonna stand over here.
Stop right there. Hands up, hands up.
Ooh.
I missed. She got me in the hand.
Okay.
She won. Try again?
And
Yeah.
two, nice. Nice shot.
You have to put one in.
Stop right there. Hands up, hands up.
Good job. You won both. Anybody else want to try?
If you insist. It's kinda tight.
You'd have a bigger one in real life.
That's how it feels in real life.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Ready?
Man, this is uncomfortable. Alright. Stop right there, stop right there! Hands up!
Good job. Good job. Yeah? Now you know what's gonna happen.
I'm out of breath. Stop right there, stop right there! Hands up!
I missed. You got me. Good job. Passable. Anybody else?
Your reaction speed on the, when you turned around too.
This one's not shooting that well.
We'll go to there.
Stop right there. Hands up.
Ah! Alright, turn it over.
I was gonna say, cover.
Down, down.
Put it inside.
No, those are good.
Alright, next.
No, no.
Anybody else want to try?
Try one more time.
Oh no,
No,
please.
someone wants to
I'd
try
like to try
one
one
more time
time.
because there was
Only
like
one,
that.
only one.
Only one, why?
Yeah, because only one.
Go sit there?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let me just get it out. Because I put two.
The only one.
Okay, two came out, so let me just load one.
Yeah, why don't you?
There we go.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna work, for sure. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned that? Alright.
Thank you.
Stop right there. Hands up.
Oh!
Yeah, so next. Shot me and didn't have my gun, so that's not good. Sorry. Anybody else?
I'll make it to the academy, you can see them. Can't be having that.
As we're transitioning to the next student, we want to definitely place emphasis on this being an educational experience. Our hearts go out to the community because of this tragic event. And so we, again, we don't take this lightly. And we send our condolences to both the family of the fallen and also the family of the officers. So again, please know that we are sensitive of the situation, and we're hoping that we can learn from this situation as well. So we thank you all for viewing and for just taking out the time to watch. Thank you.
Stop right there. Stop right there.
You didn't say hands up, Chris.
There you go.
Oh! Chris got me.
With the shoot off.
Again, I'm not the run, right?
Step right out of it.
And if you're a real officer, make sure you keep telling them what they're supposed to be doing.
Right, right. Right.
Are you ready?
Stop right there. Stop right there. Hands up, hands up.
Good, good, good.
Good. Alright, anybody else?
You gotta think, even if they're shooting back at you, they might have a change of heart at the last second. If you continue to talk to them.
I always have to repeat.
Alright, so let me try it with Min. So I'll be the
You wanna
officer.
switch? Okay. There we go. That should happen.
I want my head.
1 second. Okay, and last time I did that, it popped up. Let me try one more time. Okay, that time it didn't pop up.
Stop right there. Put your hands up, hands up, hands up. Good. One more time. Stop right there. Stop, stop. Hands up, hands up, hands up.
Got you in the stomach.
You got me too?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you
Think we
got
got
each
each
other.
other.
But like I said, if I'm wearing a vest, then I still should be fine. Now I'm gonna go over what I would say would be the ideal situation. Now, first of all, imagine if it wasn't a police officer. Imagine somebody has a gun and they're running away from you. They're not a threat anymore. You understand what I'm saying? Like if you don't have a gun yourself, why would you chase after somebody that does have a gun? Doesn't make sense, right? Normally, people are the ones running away from the person with the gun. But it's the person with the gun that's running away. So in a normal situation, that person's not a threat, right? Okay, but this situation, the officer, he didn't know, like, if this person actually had the gun. He didn't know that person was 13 years old. He didn't know any information. All he hear about shots fired. It's not like they said shots fired by a 13-year-old. They just said shots fired. And then they saw two people that matched the description that potentially could have been responsible. And then now the person has a gun and he's running away, and the officer, if the officer wanted, the officer could have chosen not to run after the person. But he chose to run after him. So he's going to run after the person. Now, okay, so the officer said, stop. The person didn't listen. They kept running. So they didn't listen to the officer's commands. Okay, but towards the end, the officer's like, put your hands up. Now he did put his hands up. So what I'm basically saying, let's recreate the situation, but you follow my orders. Aside from the beginning, when I say stop, you run. But once we get in here, you have to follow what I tell you. Okay? Like I'm not going to tell you, hey, shoot me. I'm not going to say that.
Right,
you know?
right.
So, but just do it that way now. Right?
When you put your
Okay, so we're
hands
doing
up, do you have the gun in your hand still?
You want us to drop the gun?
Well, that's what I'm going to direct him to do. Or
Oh, okay.
Ash to do.
Okay.
So,
Right? So you just have to follow.
drop the gun on the first time, and then we'll do a second time where I shoot back.
No, you're not going to shoot back at all. You're just
Okay.
going to basically follow my orders once we get in this room. And this is the ideal situation.
Got it.
So then if Min follows my orders, then Min should live, is basically what I'm saying. I shouldn't shoot Min if Min's following my orders. Right? Okay, so again, Stop, stop, stop. Stop, stop. Put down the gun. Put it down. Put your hands up. Step back, step back. Step back further. Lay on the ground, lay in your stomach. Hands out, let me see your hands. Okay, alright, so that would be the ideal situation. Ideally. But, you know, this is just a play out of what could have happened, but you tell the person to put their hands up and they put their hands up, you know, like if you give them some time to respond. And I think the part of the problem is that the 13-year-old and just people in general don't know how to respond to the police. Cause like, first you shouldn't be running from the police, and you shouldn't be having a gun on top of that. You know, so if that situation would have been, I would suggest, I mean, just in general, if you have a gun, do not turn towards them. Like, if you want to give up, then you could put your hands up, or you could drop it and then stay like this. But the turning towards them at that moment makes you a threat to them. So they're going to be very highly alert to that. So the ideal situation is I'm running, and probably in the person's mind, I'm going to get away. They're not going to chase after me. Then they're running, and the next thing you know, they see, oh shoot, the officer's still running after me. What am I going to do? Like, I want to give up, but I decided to run. Now it's kind of too late. I decided to run. So then now they're like, okay, I want to give up. So what do I do to give up? Okay, dropping the gun is really a good idea. But the problem is when you turn towards them, it makes it a threat in their eyes. So if the person would just be like, all right, I want to give up, let me drop the gun and just don't turn towards them, is what would be my suggestion. At that point, and then just listen to everything that they tell you to do. They might tell you to kick the gun, kick it. They tell you to walk forward 10 steps. You walk forward 10 steps. They tell you to lay down on the ground, on your stomach. Then you go ahead and follow the orders, and you lay down on the ground. So it's just, I think part of the thing that people should learn is just in general, like how to react to police in certain situations. But in that specific situation, everything happens so fast. Like, it's not easy, especially in the dark, to see that they dropped the gun and then turned, opposed to just coming here and then shooting right back. So, like, I understand the situation is not an easy situation. But because of my prior training, I have more understanding that this is not an easy situation on either end, you know. But does anybody have any questions about what we went over? Okay. All right, so I just want to use this as an illustration where we're going through the training just to see for ourselves, you know, in our simulation, how the situation could be better handled. But even within the departments, they could start implementing training similar to this to get them prepared. Because, you know, this is not going to be the last time. Because really, these body cameras are kind of a brand new thing. If there was no body camera, they would just basically say, he had a gun, we shot him, that's it. But because it's the body camera, you see exactly what happened. You saw that he shot him one time, and then you see the gun behind the fence. But normally we wouldn't have the luxury to see that, you know, but things have changed so much that the officers have to even be more perfect at what they do. And in order to get more perfect at what you do, you need to practice these things and simulate it to at least get you in the right state of mind to be able to handle the situation. They could have a department policy literally that says you cannot chase after a person that has a gun. If he's running away, you just gotta let him go. They might change the policy to reflect that. And if they change the policy to reflect that, the fact that the officer running after a person with the gun already makes them at fault, and then already he's just like, he's disciplined based on that. But as far as department policy right now, people shooting 8 rounds out in the middle of the night, that's a serious offense. So the officer in their mind is like, hey, let me chase after this person because they might be hurting somebody else. So they put their lives out there to try to stop the situation, but it didn't turn out perfectly, you know. But it's just, there's going to be a lot of debate on what is going to be the proper way to handle these situations, and there's no like clear answer. But one thing that is clear, it happened in Chicago. I think it was the McDonald case where a person was walking with a pocket knife. Officer stops, gets out of his squad and empties his whole clip on the person, you know, while the person had the pocket knife. And that, in my opinion, in that situation, that was completely uncalled for. I mean, a pocket knife is not the same as a gun, right? And a person's walking away with the pocket knife, and not only do you just shoot him once, you shoot him 15 times. You know, and I think I looked that up. I think he might have only got, he didn't get that much time, the officer, you know. And then there's another situation, have another state, where there was like an African American eating ice cream in his own home, and then like a female officer came in there thinking that her own home, thought that this was an invader and shot and killed the guy eating ice cream in his own home. And in my opinion, that is worse, because this person is just eating ice cream in his own home, and next thing you know, he's dead. You know, and the officer didn't get that much time either. So this is a tragic situation, you know, but I think what's important is that we all learn from it, not just the officer, not just the police department, but just in general, like, you know, the parents as well, and just, you know, just the whole situation, just people could just learn, you know, especially when you're encountering the police, because they're, in their mind, they're worried about their life. So even when you get pulled over at a traffic stop, you have to be aware, they don't know who you are, and they're worried that you might shoot at them. So if you're stopped at a traffic stop, I would recommend just to have your hands on your steering wheel, and don't reach for anything until you see the officer and you tell them like what you're reaching for. So, you know, you get stopped and you be like, all right, is there a problem? And they're like, yeah, you know, you were speeding. And then be like, then he asks for, oh, can I see your registration, your driver's license, and your insurance? And then you're like, well, it's in my wallet, but my wallet's in my right pocket. Is it okay if I get it? And then he says, go ahead. Then you reach for your wallet. But if you start reaching for it before he even gets to the window, in his mind, he's thinking that you're reaching for a gun. You know, so that's how they're trained to think. They're trained to protect their lives in case of danger. And in this situation, it was that situation. And it just happened so quickly in the dark. And, you know, this is the result of it. You know, and then there's all these other controversies going on with the person that went back in the car and that woman grabbed the taser, or grabbed the gun, and then she thought that she had her taser, and she ended up shooting and killing the person in the car. Now that, to me, in my opinion, is absolutely like that's uncalled for, that's lack of training. But in this situation, it's not lack of training. Essentially, in the police department, they teach you to deal with it just like this. Now, if the person was running and he didn't have a gun, and he was holding a cell phone, and then he gets shot and killed over it, clearly, like, that is completely the officer's fault. But the person did have a gun, was running, and that situation was such a split-second decision. It's a tragedy either way, but in the end of the day, like, everybody could learn from it to try to prevent it from happening again in the future, you know. And it's just some valuable lessons. But like I said, you know, these are Nerf guns, and, you know, we're not getting hurt, but just the act of running, the adrenaline going up, and the fact that you might get shot, it just gets you trained to really be ready and prepared. And this is something that I feel that police officers should be practicing at least weekly, monthly. Like, just go through drills and scenarios so that they're just more better at handling high tense, stressful situations. So then it's like you're not you know that you're grabbing your gun and not your taser. You know that you're grabbing your taser and not your gun. Like, you have to know what you're doing exactly at all times, because it's like other people's lives that you're dealing with right now. You know, and Chicago is like the highest homicide rates and shootings going on all the time. So it's just so important that officers are even more trained. They have to spend more time in the training to make sure that they handle it the best they can. You know, but once again, you know, condolences go out to the family. And it's a tragic situation. I'm very sorry that it happened. But once again, you know, a lot of people learn a lot of different things from YouTube. I think this is an opportunity for people to learn from it, just in general, no matter where you stand. And no matter if you're siding with the officer, or you're siding with the family, or you're neutral, this is just a learning experience in general. And for us as people training in martial arts, it's our duty to kind of put ourselves in different situations to learn how to handle it differently, depending on it. You know, there might be a situation where I go over what, in my opinion, they should have handled the traffic stop with the person that ended up getting shot when they thought they were tasing them. Like, if the officers are better trained in learning how to subdue a person rather than having to shoot a person, then it's going to basically save more lives. The problem is, if the persons aren't confident in their ability to subdue somebody, that's where the guns start coming out. But if you have more confidence without using guns, without using tasers, without using batons, then it's less likely that an officer will take somebody's life because they're not resulting in lethal force, just because it's a traffic stop, you know, and then there's something hanging on his rearview mirror. I mean, it's like you have to determine how serious is the situation. Did the person just rob a bank, or did they steal like a pack of bubble gum? You know, like, what's worth going after, you know? Like, is it just shots fired, or is it somebody just killed 5 people and now they're leaving leaving the area? Like, how serious is the situation? I mean, sometimes like people get, you know, there's a hit and run, and then one of my students, there was a hit and run, they hit his car, they left the scene, the student chased after the car, and then found the person, called the cops, and then the cops came, and then the person still left. And then my student's like, why don't you go after him? He's like, no, the department policy doesn't allow me to go after them. I have to let them go. And part of the department policy also is, if it's not like a forcible felony, if they're doing, say you blow a stop sign and the cops try to stop you and you keep going, they're not allowed to chase you over that. They're not allowed to. So if you keep going, they're supposed to just stop. Because all you did was just blow a stop sign. It's not like you just killed like 10 people, you know? So basically, they're in their eyes, they're like, we don't want to jeopardize the lives of the public just because this person refused to stop. So there's regulations on how far they're willing to go. And this situation is definitely going to spark like basically reignite like how we're going to analyze like department policy to dictate what the officers are allowed to do and what they're not. You know, so it's a difficult situation, but like I said, it's a learning experience for everybody. Okay. Anybody have any questions or anything? All right, so we'll end it there.